you see? Shout! That beat.
Hey now, what's the buzz?
We aren't building an external reality. What we're doing is we're taking our ideas, we're taking our emotions. What is it that we are feeling? What are we thinking? What are these ideas? And we're creating a physical representation. And this is what psychologists call cognitive externalization, basically an externalization of our inner thinking. So this is helping us to, we create representations of our thoughts. Think about a meeting. People have different ideas, but the way that you can articulate it is, it depends on a variety of use of words, and people might have different understandings.
Yeah.
But you may not actually pick up on those different understandings.
Exactly.
There is when we talk about legoseriousplay methods, there is a very particular process. There's a proper process to go through. But what it does is it enables everyone builds their representation of the question or the challenge, however it's framed. And then they share their interpretation of what they've built, their story, what it's built. And so in the process, we're using metaphors and storytelling.
Wow.
Now, we use metaphors all the time.
Yeah.
You think about children and their imagination, and they're creating imaginary things. And so they might be using as a box, as a house. Well, the box has become a metaphor for the house. It's a representation.
Yeah.
So even though they won't understand what is a metaphor, we're all using metaphors in our daily language.
Yeah.
This is actually something that comes up in the writing teaching I do as well. And then we're storytellers. Humans are naturally storytellers. Before we had written language,
Yeah.
we told stories. You go back to the earliest, the cave paintings, 30,000 years ago in France. And what is it showing? It's showing the story of a hunt. It's storytelling.
Yeah.
So storytelling, the idea of using metaphors is something that is embedded. We all do it. And storytelling. Again, you look at a young child. Once they're 3, 4, 5, and they're playing with their toys, and they're telling stories. We're all storytellers.
Yeah.
And so legoseriousplay is actually tapping into that power, that really quite fundamental power, in a way that it helps in drawing out ideas, drawing out things that we have in our subconscious that we may not be able to articulate. But when we build something, and it's a case of we let our fingers do the thinking. So when we do the builds, I always say, don't have a meeting with yourself. Don't sit back and think, what am I going to build? Just start building. Let your fingers figure out what it is you're building.
Wow.
And this is, our hands are tapping into those subconscious parts of our mind. This is why it's such an effective process. So we've got that happening, and then people are sharing. Now, what happens as people share? We've now got a very democratic structure. Everyone gets to have a voice. Remember back to when I was talking about the 80-20 meetings. A small number of people talking. The extroverts are talking.
Yeah.
The process. So it isn't just about having these as a tools. There is a process that is underlying this that ensures that everyone in the room has a voice.
Yeah.
And because of the way it's structured, everyone else should be, one hopes, will be listening. And the focus is on the objects. Now, here's one of the other things that's one of the strengths, why this is so powerful. You think about being in a meeting and you're bringing up ideas. You're making yourself vulnerable when you speak out an idea. Okay, your identity is tied to that idea.
Yeah.
And so as a result, you may actually not share the idea. You may not articulate the idea because you aren't sure that it's a good idea, or people might
They might
think,
judge
oh
you or
no, that's a
something. Yeah.
stupid idea, and reject it, and
Yeah.
you get rejected. And so you're making yourself vulnerable, and there is a hesitancy to take that risk. It could be dangerous. When you build a model, I've got a few more blocks here. When you build that model, you're now building an external representation of those ideas, and you're doing it individually at that point. People aren't talking to each other, and you're telling the story of that model. What have you just done? You've separated your identity from the idea of what you've built.
Yeah.
And so it becomes a lot safer. There is a higher level of psychological safety in sharing those ideas. You're less likely to self-censor and go, no,
Yeah.
I can't say.
Exactly.
So here's some of the power that's coming out. You are tapping into parts of your mind that you wouldn't otherwise, ideas you wouldn't otherwise articulate because you're using your fingers.
Exactly.
And you're creating it separate from your identity, so it becomes a lot safer. Which means that when you go around and you listen to everyone's stories, you're probably getting a lot more information, deeper information, faster than if you were in a conventional conversation. This is a tool that's used in coaching. It's a great coaching tool. There's something similar used in psychology and psychotherapy, partly with children, similar ideas to what legoseriousplay is doing. But this is really quite a powerful method. And yet it's so novel for a lot of people. It is so different.
Yeah.
So I think you get why I've become so excited about sharing this and
It's awesome.
training people in this, because you think of all the problems we have in the world. And by the way, this isn't something that you would use where you know the knowledge, what are the quarterly results for the company. You wouldn't use legoseriousplay for that. That's something that is, there is a very specific number and answer to that.
Yeah.
You don't need legoseriousplay. But if you've got a problem like, what are the different things we can be doing given to solve the housing crisis we've got in our city? All right, that's a very big problem. It might be something simpler to how can we build a better team?
Yeah.
What is
I
our
wanted to
vision?
ask that question. Yeah.
Yeah, what is our vision
Communication.
for our team? Or maybe it's how can we solve this problem that our clients have? We want to develop a new product. How can we understand better what the process is and how we can solve that problem? Again, we can start building with the Lego bricks and other ideas and going through that process. Now, one of the things there are some of the facilitators who will do legoseriousplay and that it's only the legoseriousplay. I actually think that legoseriousplay is a tool that you can use with other tools in the process. So I will also mix in other facilitation tools and techniques along with the legoseriousplay to help the process of whatever it is I'm working with. But it is a powerful method, and it isn't like this is unknown in the large corporations. This has been used for over 25 years in the major Fortune 500 major companies like Google, Coca-Cola, Virgin Airlines, IKEA. I can keep on going. Many, a large number of the Fortune 500 companies, they're all using this. They're not using it across the whole company. They're using it in pockets in different places, but they're using it. Major universities, most of them are using this. I can just start going through Oxford, Cambridge, Harvard, Stanford, MIT. They're all using legoseriousplay.
Wow.
There are business schools now starting to where And there was a Spanish business school I came across the other day. This is a part of basically all their classes. They're using Lego Serious Play. Now, are most business schools doing this? No, they're not. Are most business schools using this properly? No, they're not. But there's that potential. And so part of what I'm doing as a trainer of facilitators and educators is helping to unleash that potential of providing the training, that structure and understanding the process that people can then go and take it into their own organizations, their own teams, using it in the classroom and be able to use it to actually impact others. So I was training, I trained and certified a group of educators from a small business school here in Vancouver earlier in the semester. And again, it was about being able to take this in. But the vision that one of them had was he wants to eventually see this being used right across the school, where students come in their first year but starting to learn how to do this. When they're graduating, they are using this and
Yeah, check your scene. Yeah, get that beat.
Hey now, what's the buzz? Tech's evolving, it's all because we're shaping the world in every way. TechSculpTics, baby, lead today. Every AI crypto dream